Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today's vlog, talking about nothing. Talking about winter driving, man. Got on the subject last night, got some comments back, and today, obviously, I'm not in the Challenger. I'm in my truck, and I primarily use this as a backup vehicle to haul shit around. And for bad weather, and for really bad weather. But the reason why I'm not driving the Challenger today is not so much we had almost 6 inches of snow on Wednesday, and today's date is Saturday, January 6th. So I've been home for the last couple of days. I had a couple of days off. Thank God, man. I tell you, I always seem to have the days off that when a snowstorm hits or anything like that, I'm home, which is nice. You sit home, drink beer, hang out with the wifey, chill out, basically. Didn't have to do anything. But what I did is I dragged my truck back into service. I don't really use this during the summertime. Obviously, I use the Challenger. So the reason why I have this truck out today is not so much they did a nice job in my neighborhood clearing out the snow and ice, and salting it down, and you can see obviously from the video, if it's coming through, that the roads are really clear. Yeah, you can see that. Look at my phone, I'm using the Hero 5, you see. But the problem with my township is that they don't, anytime you go into town or anything like that, it's hard for them to, let me close this window. It's hard for them to get all the snow out of off the block where you park. So what tends to happen, it's 12 degrees out, I'm pretty sure everybody else has this problem too, is that the snow freezes and it becomes blocks of ice. So if you try to get into a spot, you're sliding around, and I don't want to tear up the bumpers on the car or have somebody else slide into me or anything like that. So it's more of a prevention of self-preservation of the car than you can't drive it. But yeah, shit. So basically, I had this truck for God knows how long, a couple of years now. Basically, I bought it as a backup spare vehicle. My wife drives a Grand Cherokee that she loves, and she doesn't want to get rid of for some reason. But I understand her point, because she has a newer style Grand Cherokee. I had an older ZJ Grand Cherokee. And if you guys are not familiar with the ZJs, they were the last breed. Well, the second generation, the ZJs were the last of the old school Grand Cherokees of what they originally came out with back in the early 90s. They had the regular Cherokee, and then they had the Grand Cherokee, or the ZJ. And when they came out in 93, they were like, wow, this is the shit. As far as a unibody setup, it still had the solid axles, front and rear. Mine was a V8, and loved it. I towed with it, and it was a beast. I'm telling you, freaking thing. But I get back to my other video, is that all-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive, and the things that I hated about getting this truck, and the only reason why I got rid of the old truck, it just had so many miles on it. It had almost 310,000 miles on it, which is still running till today. From the last time that I sold it to the guy that I sold it to, I still see that Jeep floating around, and I get sightings from my friends who take pictures of it because they're so amazed that this thing's still running till today. So that thing has got to have over 340,000 miles on it, or something crazy like that on the original engine, from what I understand. Now, I did do a couple of transmissions, but they had the original drivetrain, the axles. I redid the control arm. I did all the maintenance stuff that you would do on a car that has that many miles. But the history of that truck, just a quick thing. I bought that truck for $1,000. I had that truck for 10 years, almost 10 years. $1,000. Think about that. Where can you buy a four-wheel drive, fully functioning truck, and everything worked in it, for $1,000? And the reason why I bought it, and it had 200,000 miles on it when I got it. So I put 100 and something thousand miles on that truck. But sometimes there's really good deals out there for used vehicles or four-wheel drive vehicles. But I got that truck so cheap because I knew the owner. I knew that truck I knew that it was a 1995 Grand Cherokee Laredo, but I knew the owner who bought the truck brand new off the showroom floor, who had it for all those years, who was more of a meticulously maintained freak than I was. He went 15,000 miles with conventional motor oil, and then he was a synthetic Mobil 1 freak. So he used synthetic Mobil 1 oil on that motor for everything, for the life of the truck after 15,000 miles on it. And the transmission finally gave out at 210,000 miles on it. That's after I got my hands on it and started towing with it and all that kind of stuff. And had it rebuilt by like a transmission place or like that, it only lasted about 40,000 miles on it. I think they put cheap bands, and clutches in it, because it was a cheap rebuild. It was like probably $1,000 rebuild. I basically took it out, brought it to them, and whatever, but then I scored on a used transmission that was a factory rebuilt one from Chrysler, so I could go back to mileage on it. That was a big thing. But to get back to the subject here, all-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive. The one thing I hate about this truck is that it's two-wheel drive, but then you have to manually put it into four-wheel drive, where the Grand Cherokee was an all-wheel drive vehicle, and I think that the Jeeps make the best all-wheel drive. Though they are a little clunky, for those years they were a little clunky, but it still never left me stranded. I can go through anything in there with the right tires. It just left me with the solid axles. Never had an issue with that truck. I knew I could go anywhere with it. It could be a blizzard out on the truck. This truck, and I found that the weight of the truck too made a big difference. The big V8 in the front, I was able to go in and plow in, and it got me out of situations. With this truck, is excellent. Don't get me wrong, it's excellent. But I find that it's light. It's lighter than the other truck, and it tends to slide into like if you try to pull into a spot, it slides around because of that four-wheel drive lock and the differential. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But you can see I feel like I'm stuck to this little truck. That's another thing about the Grand Cherokees too, or you get a bigger four-wheel drive truck or even a truck, is that these things are small. They're based off the small pickup trucks, I guess. So for a 6-foot guy like me, you feel like a little sardine in a can. But whatever, it is what it is. Alright, boring video. Talk to you later.